welcome to Onside SA, where Budgie and I are going to be talking initially all about last one standing, and then we've got our international pundit in the Fulham studio, Stevie B. We're going over to him. But Budge, someone had to go.
Oh, Paul, I felt for you.
Four people left, Budge, and I'm the one that gets the short straw. After leading 2-1 with Hollywoodbets, coming from behind. But I made top four, so I'm Champions League.
Nothing wrong with that,
Champions
Paul.
League.
Champions League.
Champions League.
Bit more than Man United will be this season. Yeah.
My Spurs mate, he went through. Graham Hawkins, fantastic. He went to bed, I believe.
Yeah, no doubt. Went to bed like a lot of people watching Fulham. My youngest brother, Stephen, he went to bed too when they won down, sneaked through. But yeah, congratulations to Tracy. You know, fantastic. Her and lastminute.com, Dean Grove.
We've got a woman in the top two before.
Yeah, it was Montana, I think.
Yes, Montana Werners. Montana Werners was the only one. Well, Tracy's going strong. Could be our first lady to win it. All the best. Her and Dean went through with
Notts Forest.
Just a quick question. Who does Tracy support?
Man City.
Okay, and Dean?
Dean Liverpool.
And Graham, of course, is beloved Spurs. Yeah, well done. Well, may the best person win.
Yeah.
And we've got a photograph for you that we found quite interesting. We'll try and put it up before we talk about the second one. Here's the photo, if they can bring it up.
International pundits, it was late on
here's the photo, and there were the legendary
Charlie Pigram.
Charlie Pigram from Spurs. There he is. I don't know who the other guy is, but if we can work out who the other guy is, that's our Spurs legend, Charlie. Good to see him gallivanting.
Was that his driver, Charlie, in the back, trying to sneak into the photo?
Someone tried to photobomb it. But he's always in our competitions.
Yeah, Charlie never misses.
Charlie legend. He comes out, Met, July, whatever. All the best, Charlie, and to your friend. Right, so let's go on to the second one, Budge.
Yeah.
Now, the second one was a bit of a train smash. If Liverpool had conceded a second when Brighton were really firing, would have been interesting.
Yeah, Paul, you know, we had 798 and just having a look at the guys that went through. If Liverpool had gone out, I'd had people saying, when are we starting the next one? But, you know, you've got the numbers there, Paul.
Yeah, I've got them in front of me. And this is very interesting, guys, because 259 went through with Liverpool. Bear in mind, of nearly 800 contestants, we're down to 416. Take 259 off. Ooh, the other guys who went through, not Forest, deserved to win.
Yeah.
Fulham, touch and go. Tottenham, comfortable winners. Southampton, touch and go.
Yeah.
Bournemouth,
easy.
Fantastic. The guys who picked Bournemouth should have given a shirt or something. And Newcastle, good selection. So the guys, early in the competition, people throw it around a bit.
Yeah, Paul, what happened with Newcastle is we had load shedding at my place in 2 hours. Only came back at 2 o'clock. Okay. And with our early kickoff, Arsenal, and there were two guys that I actually unfortunately left out, but their picks were through anyway.
Yeah,
guys that are regular.
But there's no question about it.
Yeah.
Just the teams that went out. You know, Man City surprisingly got beat. Arsenal got beat. Everton, Ipswich Town, Wolves. Leicester City, Chelsea, Man United. We'll talk to Steve and you about the new boss and what's happening. Crystal Palace, West Ham, Aston Villa took a few, and Brentford 382. That's a big smack.
Big smack. Stevie sailed through, Paul. But,
he's wiped. Given him a few pointers. The new competition, 50 ladies entered.
Yeah, Paul. I'll mention over the next 2 weeks. The international break is next week, and with the international and the postnet guys.
You got the best performance you thought from the second week. It was first week, eh?
First week, yeah.
Brett Galley?
Yeah, Brett had, he always takes 5 picks, former winner. He had 4 winning teams, Paul, which was hard.
That's very good that weekend.
So
very,
full credit
very good.
to Brett, yeah.
And the pick of the round, you've gone for Mo Maul.
Yeah, Mo took a few picks. You know, he's Hassan Moore, former with his nephew. He had 2 picks on Bournemouth.
And K-State and Greg Van Rooyen picked Newcastle.
They were on Newcastle, Paul. Yeah, it's only after I sent it out, I was doing the recon and went, oh, goodness. But no, they've been in for years, and well done to the guys.
Let's get our man Stevie B there. And Steve, how are you doing?
Good, thank you. Especially after Monday night.
I don't know about lastminute.com. I don't know what you'd call that. But, yeah, what a great victory, Steve. Graham Hawkins, no doubt, will buy you a pint when he bumps into you. But
he owes you a pint.
Owes you a pint or more. But, Steve, Champions League, you know, Liverpool, they're starting off slowly. They look a lot more, how can I say, controlled, I think is the right word. But once they got ahead, They destroyed that Leverkusen team.
Yeah, I mean, Leverkusen don't seem to be the team they were last season.
No doubt about it.
I wouldn't say a one-season wonder because they're a strong side, but they've had a few defeats now already this year. But Liverpool play well. Very disappointing the rest of the results for English teams though. Last night as well, but watching City as well. Crikey, it's the first time in 6.5 years they've lost 3 games on the bounce. And the defence just seemed to be going missing.
Yeah. Steve, how come Aki's not there, Walker? All these guys are on the bench. Even De Bruyne is on the bench. And they're coming on like last-minute appearances. He can't be surely saving them.
There's something that, they obviously can't all be fit. I mean, they've had injuries this season. And I know that they've got injury issues. But, there's no question they miss Rodri sitting in front of that back four because there doesn't seem to be anybody screening them. And, the amount like watching Sporting, I mean, like, or even Tottenham last week in the Carabao Cup, they just seem to be sort of go missing at times, their defence, and they were so tight before. And then obviously if Haaland isn't scoring, then there's pressure on them. So Pep looked very disconsolate the last couple of games. Something's not quite 100% there.
Yeah, I can only put it down to I don't think he's going to renew his contract.
That wasn't the worst performance by them.
They could have been 3-0 up. I watched the first 10, 15 minutes. It should have been over.
Should have been over.
I think they had 8 corners in the first half. It's only when it went 1-1 they got exposed. But there's something not right there. Maybe we'll see on the weekend.
Just staying on that for a moment, Steve. I was listening to the news this morning. They say that striker, did he get the hat-trick?
Goikaris, the guy that was at...
he came from
Coventry.
Coventry. Now, they're talking about how he's going to do the whole circle. And
he started at Brighton, I think.
That's right, something like that. And the new boss at Man United obviously knows him backwards. Says he might come with.
It'll be end of the season if he does come. But Paul, we bought so badly with Gerksey and Huijsland, and the best striker we had was Greenwood. They had, unfortunately... Oh, Anthony, crikey, don't mention him. But Steve, trouble in the camp, Man City. Club Brugge, Aston Villa. I backed Villa to score 2 goals. Had a nice bet. Steve, likewise, this guy, Unai Emery's done great in Europe, but he's trying to play this football, and Club Brugge, in my opinion, deserved it.
Yeah, I watched that. I mean, look, when you look at them, they're not exactly a team full of stars, but and their manager before basically said he thought this is a game they could win, not playing pretty, but just do it, and that's what they did. Obviously, the goal was the fluke. You just not quite sure what was going on, and I felt sorry for Tyrone Mings. He's just come back from a long injury, and what went through his mind, and the referee was correct to give a penalty. It's bizarre, but they huffed and puffed Villa. Look, they're still in a good position, having won the first 3, but that's not you can't see them, being European champions or anything. But and the worry for them, it's a distraction because they collapsed in that second half against Tottenham. So they haven't quite got the squad to go for all the competitions. I don't think.
Yeah, I was impressed with Arsenal. I know they got beat 1-0. That penalty was harsh. For me, they were the better team. I know Inter Milan hit the bar early on, but Arsenal had 13 corners in that game. And the cheating, I was saying to Paul earlier, when I was at the Tottenham-Arsenal game earlier, they reminded me of an Italian team playing for time, diving Arsenal. And they got caught at their own game last night because Inter knew every trick. The moment they got the penalty and scored, they were diving all over. It was actually a terrible game. But Arsenal from the corner, Steve, and I've seen it live and I watched it again last night. They have the 4 bars at the back post and the last guy comes in, runs right next to the goalkeeper to stop him from coming. And they did it against Spurs, they did it against Man City.
That's right.
So they got punished last night. But I wasn't unimpressed with that performance. I thought they were the better team by street. And if it had gone 1-1, I think they would have won.
Yeah.
Anyway...
the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I say the last couple of... They desperately need back and fit.
Yeah.
He was... brought him on at the end, but I mean, essentially, they just slipped up. Obviously, it was a big defeat last week for them in the league. They're falling, away a little bit. So a lot of pundits were predicting them to be there or thereabouts the whole time, and they're already several points behind.
Yeah, I haven't got a number 9. Harvards ain't the answer to score 25, 30 goals, that's for sure. Couple of games tonight. Paul and I spoke about it. I don't fancy Tottenham against Galatasaray. Paul's saying they're going to play a lot of youngsters in Galatasaray, difficult place to play. And, you know, Man United at home to PAOK. They're second in the Greek league. I think they're
They are. They're not a bad side, but United have to win, basically.
Yeah.
You know, they've drawn too many games in this competition. They have to win, there's no question. And maybe, you know, with everything that's going on, you know, they had a good win at the weekend. Maybe they'll give them the confidence to carry on. They should win, but I don't think you can take it as a gimme.
Yeah, no doubt about that. But I think they'll cruise it. Chelsea will play their reserve tour, the squad against...
They can. They're playing against an Armenian team with no European pedigree.
Yeah.
So, you know, if Chelsea don't win, would be a real surprise. But it's not a game I'll be watching on the TV for sure.
That's guaranteed, especially for us. I hope it's an early game, but I'll be watching the Tottenham early game. Yeah.
No, you're the late game.
Yeah, Tottenham's early.
Yeah, Tottenham's no, Man United. Well, we'll see. On to the betting for the weekend, and you know, after some strange results, I don't see it getting any easier. Steve, Brentford against Bournemouth. How do you see it going?
Well, look, I mean, yeah, Brentford at home, they've won 4 and drawn 1 of their 5. But if you look at who they played, they basically played pretty much teams below them. And they've been conceding goals. They were fortunate to get that win against Ipswich. They've conceded 20 goals this season, I think it is, in 10 games. Bournemouth, on the other hand, I think shocked everybody. I mean, those 2 huge wins against Arsenal and City, and I just fancy them to get something. I think Thomas Frank's got a few issues there at the back. He's got injuries, and all right, they conceded late at Fulham, but they conceded a lot of goals, and I think Bournemouth could catch them.
Yeah, as you say, Wolves scored, Ipswich scored, as you say, they beat the bottom 4 teams and they drew with West Ham. So that's close on the bottom 5. I agree. My only concern for Bournemouth is they're not the greatest from set pieces. And one thing about Brentford on that tight pitch, they're going to be zeroing that ball into the box. So that's my only concern. But I agree, of the 2 teams, I fancy Bournemouth in the draw there. I'm not impressed with Brentford. Steve, likewise, you know, Crystal Palace, I've watched them the last couple of games, a little bit tighter at the back. But Wolves had chances to win that, and it's only because they can't keep a clean sheet that they tossed it. I think your guys got a great chance of going Sellers Park and getting a result.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that if we can take the chances, I mean, we had so many chances on Monday night early on. I think if we're clinical, I think it is. You know, we've got a decent record over there.
Yeah.
Look. I mean, Palace, that was a big win they had against Tottenham. Obviously, they shut, their first and only win of the season. I think it'll be a tight game, but I just got a feeling it is that we are capable of winning if we take our chances.
Yeah, I thought
15 points so far. You get a win here, you're up there. 18 points is a great start.
Great start. Under 2.5 goals, my suggestion, 9 to 10. West Ham, Everton. I just cannot believe that West Ham are even money favourites, Steve. What I've seen from them, they're a poor team. Reading guys, they're saying there's trouble in the camp with this manager. He could be in trouble if they don't get a result here.
They're higher in the log than Everton.
Yeah, at home, they started to sort of pick some points. Away, we know they're poor, but at home, it could be an Everton. You're not sure we're going to get from them. I mean, they're struggling on the road. They have to beat Everton. It's the sort of game that Everton could hold them, but I just got a feeling at home they might be a little bit too strong, West Ham.
Stephen, I watched them beat Ipswich. Man United should have been 4-0 out of sight. You know, we're last week at Notts Forest. Notts Forest were all over them. I know the red card.
Who did they put 4 past the other day? West Ham.
At home.
Yeah.
You know, and everything went, they scored early. I'm on 7.5 to 10 here. I don't see Everton getting beat. You know, if West Ham give the chances to them, I think Everton... 27 to 10. I was going to make them my value bet, but I don't see them getting beat, Everton. I'm not on the West Ham train. I would not be taking West Ham. Wolves, Southampton. I fancied Wolves last week. I fancy them again. One thing there will be goals.
20 plays 19.
Yeah. How do you see it going there, Steve?
Yeah, I think so. I think Wolves, they're still obviously, struggling, but they put in a few good performances. They had a couple of wobbles, but and I think you're right. I think Southampton has flattered to deceive a bit, and I think for me they are like the weakest link in the division. Yeah. I think Wolves. I think it'd be close, but I do fancy Wolves.
Only thing is Southampton do score goals, so Wolves and both teams to score. I saw that at 5-2 would be my suggestion, but if Wolves can't win this game, I think that manager could get bulleted. Yeah. Steve, Brighton, Man City. Is this the upset of the weekend?
Well, look, the thing is, a few weeks, you would have said, it would have been an upset. But the way City have been playing, conceding goals, and the way that Brighton can play, you don't know. City have come unstuck there before. Yeah. Look, Pep has got to get a tune out of some of his players. They can't afford to lose again. Brighton, you're not sure you're going to get. They play some lovely football. I've just got a feeling Pep has got them doing a little bit of extra training since they got back yesterday, because they just can't afford to lose this and lose ground on Liverpool. I've just got a feeling they might bounce back, but Brighton have got nothing to lose. They'll have a go.
Yeah, I'm taking 18-10 Brighton to score over 1.5 goals. Just when you see the enthusiasm of that Man City team, it's not there, Steve. Once you play past the press, they open gates at the back end. They're an ageing team. And as I said earlier, I just got this feeling that Pep's not going to renew his contract, and the writing's on the wall for a lot of those players. We all know the older you get, those knocks don't recover quickly when you're in your 20s, and that's my problem with Man City. I think Brighton would get at least a draw here. It wouldn't surprise me if there's an upset. But 18-10 Brighton to score 2 goals.
You listening, Steve?
Until next week.
Sorry?
Steve, are you listening to me?
Yeah.
Man City's certainties.
Yeah.
Certainty. They cannot go 4 in a row.
You never know. Never say never.
Well, we didn't think they'd go. We didn't think they'd go 3. It's been 6.5 years, 3 in a row. Okay. I don't know when 4 in a row was. Yeah. But, I think it'll go back much further.
All the 7-10.
All the 7-10. There'll be even money by the weekend. On to the second page, and Liverpool, Aston Villa. I fancied Villa last week to do a number on Spurs, or to score at least 2 goals. Even went over 4.5 corners. I didn't catch that. Yeah. I think Liverpool are going to destroy them. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I think Liverpool should be too strong. I mean, their record, it's almost unblemished at the moment, and I think they will. I think Villa really capitulated in the second half against Tottenham. Yeah. I think you just think that and it's like obviously again the way Liverpool played in the second half against Leverkusen. I think if they get ahead, then I think that'd be too much for Villa. Villa need to score first, but somehow I just got a feeling Liverpool at home be too strong. Yeah. So for me, the Villa sort of train just sort of coming off the tracks just a little bit in the league.
The other bets are, we're going to have a bet. Liverpool over 6.5 corners, 8.5-10. I'm on the Liverpool -1 handicap at 12-10. I think Liverpool are good things. Man United, Leicester, Steve, 4-10. I know we should win, but if ever there's one team I will never take odds on, is Man United. Would you take 4-10?
Well, the thing is, no, I think that's way too short. But game again tonight, so and he has to put out a strong side. They've got to win this game. So that's the only sort of thing that's going for Leicester, is that United should put out a strong side tonight. Look, I think if they win tonight, if they can go win again at the weekend, I think that'll just put a little bit of smile on people's faces there. Yeah. They should be favourites to win. I mean, they have to, basically. Leicester, look, it's a bit of a free hit for them. Yeah. Many people seem to think they won't get anything there. And, they can have a go, but I just don't think they're strong enough to hold United are purring.
Yeah, I'd rather take the Man United corners with 6.5 at 7-10. But I know they should win, but crikey, you never know with what we're seeing. Notts Forest, Newcastle, 2 teams that have won their last couple of games, Steve. I fancy a team strongly here. Who do you fancy, though?
Well, I mean, the betting is for Newcastle, but away they've been a little bit disappointing. I'm surprised at how Forest have done so well. I keep thinking they're going to come unstuck. Their only defeat was at home to Fulham. Yeah. But so they really ran the show last week, I think that they could surprise a lot of people and win this one as well.
I'm on Newcastle, Steve. I was impressed when they beat. I know it wasn't Chelsea's best team in the League Cup, but there's always one result that sparks everybody. And Spurs did that in the League Cup where they had a great result, and all of a sudden Spurs are flying. You know, to me, Newcastle deservedly beat Arsenal. You know, they've now got rid of all these Brazilians in the middle of the park. They played that, forget his name now, the kid in the middle of the park. He's got an engine second to none. Really impressed with what I've seen. They've had the week break. You know, looking at Forest, they shouldn't have beat Palace.
Yeah, but they're quick through the flanks.
Who's that?
They got Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
They've got those two wingers. They play quick. Those two.
I just think Newcastle, Isak, that expose them at the back. And I'm all over Newcastle at 16-10, Steve. I think that's worth a bet. I'll be also backing them to score over 1.5 goals, Newcastle. I think it was 14-10, but I'm on the Geordies here, or should I say the Magpies. Tottenham, Paul, how many will they score against Ipswich?
2, 3, maybe 3. I'd say 3 each half. Depends if we get rolling early.
Yeah.
Which we've been stuttering and I fear for Ipswich.
Yeah.
But funnier things have happened. They get a goal, they close shop, and tight game. Now I think we'll win, and the way we're scoring goals, we should get a few more than them.
Yeah. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously got a tough game tonight, although I think he'll rotate a bit. Ipswich goals, but they leaked well. I think if Tottenham, play as they did in that second half against Villa, then I think Ipswich won't be able to live with them. So I think that both teams to score, but I think Tottenham come out on top.
Yeah, 13-10 Spurs to win, both teams to score. One thing about Ipswich, they have a go. They're going to beat 4-0, they get beat 4-1. But the betters, and I've followed Spurs the last couple of games. They're 9.5 to 10 with the corners, Paul. I know we got stuck out with Man United, 7.5. They had that in the first half against, I think 6 against West Ham. They had like 12 corners the other day. And the way they play...
With Spurs, especially if they play Lawrence Werner's down the left.
Mudryk now. That's the bet for me. They'll score goals, but the goals prices are poor. So Spurs are the corner machine. 7.5 and 9 to 10, I think, is a gift. And last but not least, Chelsea Arsenal. Steve, how do you see it?
Yeah, tough game.
Good game.
Again, a few weeks ago, I would have said Arsenal definitely get something here, but
listen,
the best they'll do is maybe get a ball. But Chelsea at home are not quite the side of the.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be there'll be goals. But I've got a feeling they could cancel each other out. But this is definitely not an easy one for Arsenal.
Yeah, I was all over Chelsea until I watched Arsenal last night, Steve. I think it's going to be a tighter game than normal. But if the main boy back, Cole Palmer's back for Chelsea, because that was a vicious tackle Martinez did on him last week. I fancy Chelsea. The wheels are coming off Arsenal. And if Chelsea can defend set pieces, Arsenal don't score many goals from open play. So I've got a funny feeling that Chelsea are going to cause an upset, similar to Brighton on Saturday. On to the Championship, and we had games at midweek, but we'll include them in our picks for the weekend. Friday night game, Steve, Watford, Oxford. How do you see it?
Yeah, I fancy. I mean, they're a bit up and down, Watford, but I think at home they'll be far too strong for Oxford. Oxford have had some great results, but they've been pretty much on their home turf. So for me, I think Watford are good things at 9 to 10.
Yeah, 5 wins and a draw at home. They score goals, Watford. It's amazing. Away from home, they scored 6. That's his brother's team, yeah. Oxford has scored in the last 5 of the last 6 away. I went over 2.5 goals, Steve, although that wasn't a bad price at 8 to 10, but I'm on Tom Cleverley's Watford. They made me a few rand over the
Cleverley was a
Man United boy, I fancy Watford. Steve, Cardiff got beat last night. 13 to 10 is not the worst surprise against a Blackburn team that's gone off the boil.
Yeah, I think very much so. I saw the highlights of some of the games last night. Cardiff had a few chances.
Yeah.
Blackburn definitely have gone off the boil. They've stopped scoring. And that was a bad defeat for them at home last night. I think Cardiff, definitely should be favourites. With a new manager there, I think that they've just picked themselves up a bit.
Yeah, they got lucky last week. They're 1-0 down, and Norwich came back and scored 2-1. They're unbeaten in 6, but they got rolled during the week.
They're a long way down the league.
Yeah, Middlesbrough, Steve. A couple of the red card cost them dearly last week. Can they rebound against an improving Luton side?
They won 4-1.
I think they can. I mean, they had a big win at QPR on Tuesday night, 4-1.
Yeah.
That was, that's the sort of game that, they might have come unstuck in the past. But, no, I think they should be too strong. I mean, Luton, again, this season haven't played very well away from home.
Yeah.
They scraped a win last night, but I think Borough should be favourites.
Yeah, that was Borough when they beat QPR. QPR woeful. They're in trouble. That was the second win in 6. Carrick will be pulling his hair. Their discipline's been a bit of a nightmare lately. But I took the easy route, both teams to score. But if they had to be a winner, it would have to be Middlesbrough. Two teams that have come back to form, especially Millwall. Can they upset Stoke City, Steve?
Yeah, definitely. I think they're capable. They've won 4 games in a row, 1-0.
Yeah.
So they're after a shaky start, he's got them, playing tight at the back.
Yeah.
And although Leeds, again, I saw sort of some of the highlights.
Yeah,
Leeds had, something like 75% possession, but basically couldn't break them down. So, I think that is a game Millwall definitely capable of getting something.
Yeah, the Millwall, they had 2 great results in a row. They beat Burnley and Leeds, so they'll be confident. On to our second page, and we've got Derby County, who won last night, hosting Wayne Rooney's team, who are away from home, can't score a goal. Surely it's got to be Derby.
They're both Rooney's teams.
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah.
Derby had their first away win last night, good win at Coventry. Plymouth the other night, evidently didn't play very well, but got that.
Sneaked the result, yeah.
But as you say, Derby at home are strong, Plymouth are poor away. It's hard to back anything other than a home win.
Yeah, got a fancy Derby County. Leeds United against QPR. This should be a total annihilation, shouldn't it?
Well, look, I think Leeds would be disappointed that they didn't get anything at all last night.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I'd be very surprised if they don't win by at least a couple.
Yeah, last week we were on Leeds, over 2.5 goals, both teams to score no, it was 24-10. This week it's the same bet, over 2.5, both teams to score no at 29-10. I know QPR are capable of scoring, but they've been woeful lately and they're in serious relegation trouble, QPR.
Yeah.
Norwich City, Bristol City, Steve. Norwich unbeaten in 22 home league games.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, Bristol City, I know they got rolled the other day, but...
Bristol City, they're a good little side, but you can see Norwich extending that run, and I'd be very surprised if they don't win that one.
Yeah, they came to Preston, Bristol City, another Maradona hand of God goal. Couldn't believe it. VAR that had thrown the boy in the jail for what he did, but anyway, good luck to them. But got a fancy Norwich of the two teams. Desperation game near the bottom, Steve. Portsmouth against my hometown Preston. I think 5-2 the draw looks the right play. Do you agree?
Preston had a good result last night.
Yeah, it was on ESPN. I watched it tonight.
Hard to score against. Look, Portsmouth they're trying, but they're just, they're struggling.
Yeah.
They're struggling to score goals. I think Preston could hold them at the very least.
Yeah, I think there'd be a couple of goals. Desperation from both teams. Sunderland Coventry, Steve. Sunderland 0-0 last night. By all reports from my guys that Preston deserved the point. We had chances to win. The head of the guy missed late on, was criminal. But Coventry in and out. I couldn't believe they got beaten midweek. Even money Sunderland?
Yeah, I think that's about right. I think Sunderland certainly be favourites. Coventry are just starting to pick up a little bit, and that was I think for them, a very disappointing. So I think Sunderland, another crowd. I think that they'll, I think it'll be both. But
but Sunderland, I think, if they'd have won yesterday, I think they're 7 points clear of the fourth team.
Yeah.
And that's with drawing yesterday.
Yeah.
They're having a good season.
Having a great season.
And at home, that stadium will be. I think even money is a good bet.
Yeah, that Coventry's a Jekyll and Hyde team. That's the only problem. I went both teams to score even money. That was my suggestion. Sheffield Derby, Sunday lunchtime, Steve. I think Sheffield United are certainties. Do you agree?
Yeah, except Derby.
I know.
I think that's the thing. Sheffield Wednesday, you can't catch them. They concede 6 at home one week and then win the next.
Yeah.
Sheffield United are definitely going to be favourites. But because Derby and it's a lunchtime game, you're never quite sure. But I think if you had to put you...
Yeah, I've got a fancy Sheffield United. Stevie, our 5 home clean sheets. I know it's a local derby, but for me, I'm all over Sheffield United. Great victory in midweek at Bristol City. So I think even money is a gift. Hull City versus West Brom. West Brom play Burnley tonight. Hull City just can't score, Steve. I've been on them the last couple of weeks. Can they rebound against Hull City?
They can do, but Hull at home are not an easy side to go to again. But West Brom, they start like a house on fire beginning of the season, and they've slipped. I mean, they're there or thereabouts in the playoffs. But I think it's been tough. I wouldn't be surprised if they cancel each other out in a low-scoring game.
Yeah, they were unbeaten in 7, but they do play Burnley tonight. Those are two decent sides. And mentioning Burnley, they cost me at Millwall, a nice bet to come, but they also can't score goals, Steve. They've got West Brom tonight and then Swansea at home. Surely they've got to beat Swansea.
You would think so, but it's strange, to be playing tonight. That's I guess for TV as well. But they got Scott Parker there, Burnley, so. I know from experience that, if they can pass sideways, they probably do that rather than go forward half the time. So, I think that, Swansea, you're never quite sure what you're going to get. Yeah. They play some attractive football and then, sometimes there's no end product. I think Burnley should win, but it's going to be close. Yeah,
I just think there'll be goals in that. These big games on Sunday, a lot of TV eyes on them. Tends to be goals in those games. Steve, pressure time again. Need your best bet and value bet.
Well, I'm going to go for, I hope I don't jinx them, I'm going to go Watford.
Watford.
I think that's, 5 wins and a draw out of 6.
Yeah.
Should win.
Should beat Oxford.
My value bet is going to be Bournemouth. Yeah. I think that, Brentford defence are there for taking, and if, Bournemouth can do what they did against City, I think they should be too strong for them. Yeah,
I agree. I looked at Bournemouth as well. It's just a tight pitch. I know Paul's been there, and they don't try and play much football. They get the balls, and that's my only concern with Bournemouth. Can they contain Brentford's aerial assault that's coming? If they can do that, they'll score goals. But if they can't, they're going to be in trouble. I went Sheffield United. I think they're good things. And I hummed and hawed about my values. I ended up siding with Newcastle. Really impressed the last 2 performances. And I think Notts Forest's luck is going to run out eventually. And I'm on the Magpies.
Steve, what did they used to call our friends Brentford, the last bus stop at where? Basingstoke? Hounslow. That's it.
Hounslow, wasn't that...
Don't they sing to them? You're the last bus. All yours the last bus stop in Hounslow.
Okay.
It's just a bit of a joke. But so anyway, look, listen. There's always goals with Brentford.
Yes,
that's one thing. I mean, at home particularly, you think they've had a 5-3 and a 4-3.
Yeah.
So I guess if there's neutrals, enjoy watching them. But Monday it was a hard watch because once they'd scored, they had basically hardly got out of their half.
Yeah.
It was like one of those training games when you got attack against defence.
Yeah,
and they defended, to be fair to them, they defended well. They sort of threw their bodies in front of everything.
Yeah.
And just when we look like we're running out of ideas, it happens sometimes. You get 1, you get 2.
Yeah. I thought you deserved to win. But Steve, thanks as always, and we'll speak over the weekend.
All the best, Steve.
All the best, Steve.
Bye, Paul.
Cheers. Bye-bye. PSL midweek results.
Yeah, Paul, I watched a couple
Pirates,
of the
Richards Bay.
Well, I watched that game. Richards Bay playing the cup. Paul, that got physical. The one Richards Bay got flicked it on, he got crunched. It nearly became a massive altercation. I was really impressed with Richards Bay. Yes. You could see we'll talk about the cup game coming up on the weekend. Pirates, Paul, have 1 or 2 good young players. They deserve to win, but
they're doing well.
They're doing well. Let's just hope. We want someone giving Sundowns a run, Paul. Yeah. We can't have a bad Pirates.
Every year, it's like Man City.
Yeah.
Stellenbosch and TX Galaxy.
Yeah, it was funny. That game wasn't on. I saw the highlights, and the TS Galaxy, the Bosnian guy, he resigned on air. TS Galaxy. Couldn't believe it. They scored late, but obviously it must be financial issues with TS Galaxy. But it's a bad result for Steve Barker. And Sundowns controlled win, Paul. Now, they got beat the other day by them in the league, so this was payback, and they cruised to an easy victory.
Colin Cup, semi-finals.
Semi-finals, Paul, yeah.
Richards Bay, you were impressed.
I'm all over them, Paul. I know Clinton Larson's at Magezi's done a good job. They beat TS Galaxy and Orlando Pirates. Both away from home. But Richards Bay are organised, Paul. This has got 1-0 written all over it,
Where
Richards
would they
Bay.
play
This is in Umlazi, Paul.
Had to be
At the back.
yeah,
That's their team, Richards Bay.
And what type of capacity there? About 20?
Jeez, Paul, first time I played there is 1979. The railway line was a lovely little stadium. Paul, that'll be 20,000.
20, that's what I thought, yeah.
Great little stadium. And Paul, you can't beat Sundowns. You never know. Maruma Gallants have done great. This game's in Bloemfontein.
Is it a one-off?
One-off, yeah. Extra time penalties. Dan, my man, Molasele, Gavin Radford's old teammate.
Yeah.
He's in charge of Maruma Gallants. So you never know. But Paul, when it comes to the money time, you Sundowns all day.
All right, Buzz, let's work out. Let's listen to what you've worked out.
Yeah, on our soccer Saturday exotics, Paul. So we'll bring the soccer 6 up first. I've gone Cardiff City win and draw at home against Blackburn. I'm going for Middlesbrough to beat Luton. The field in the Stoke City, Millwall and Venezia versus Parma games. Norwich City to avoid defeat at home against Bristol City. I'm going for the Yellow Submarines of Villarreal to beat Deportivo Alaves 2-1-6. On to our second soccer 6 on Saturday. I'm bankering Richards Bay to beat Magezi. The field in the Brentford-Bournemouth fixture. Fulham to avoid defeat at Crystal Palace. And Everton to avoid defeat at West Ham United. Got a chance Wolves to beat Southampton. And I'm looking for the upset in the Brighton-Man City clash. 2-1-6. On to the soccer 10, I'm bankering Real Madrid, who are woeful in midweek at home against Osasuna. Richards Bay, I've thrown the draw in with them, win and draw at home against Magezi. Siding with 3 away teams, win and draw. Bournemouth at Brentford, Fulham at Crystal Palace, and Everton at West Ham United. On to the second page, I'm bankering Wolves to beat Southampton, Villarreal to beat Deportivo Alaves, Groningen win and draw at home against Sparta Rotterdam in the Dutch League, Monaco to avoid defeat against Strasbourg, and AC Milan win and draw in Calgary 2-56. On to the soccer 13, I'm bankering Liverpool to beat Aston Villa, Brighton win and draw at home against Man City, Fulham to avoid defeat at Crystal Palace, Bournemouth win and draw at Brentford, and Everton win and draw at West Ham United. 2 bankers, Wolverhampton Wanderers to beat Southampton and Derby County to beat Plymouth Argyle. On to the second page, another 2 bankers, Leeds United to outclass Queen's Park Rangers and Norwich City, chancing them to beat Bristol City. I don't see my Preston North End boys losing at Portsmouth, and going for Sunderland to be too good at home against Coventry City. And 2 League One games. I'm going Charlton Athletic to avoid defeat at Exeter City, and the Lancashire clash, going for Bolton Wanderers win and draw at Stockport County 2-56.
Right, Budge, my favourite
Budgie's bets, yeah. Paul, I'm going for Everton win and draw at West Ham. I'm going Liverpool to beat Aston Villa, and chancing Chelsea to beat Arsenal, and Tottenham Hotspur to beat Ipswich Town, and both teams to score 3,200 to 200. On to our team goals, I'm going Brighton, Newcastle and Chelsea, all to score over 1.5 goals. I didn't want to add Spurs in, it wouldn't have done much to the price, and you never know the red card.
Correct.
On to the second page, on to the championship. I'm going over 2.5 total goals in the Friday game between Watford and Oxford, and also Norwich versus Bristol City. And I'm going Stoke City to beat Millwall and Sheffield United to beat Sheffield Wednesday 3,000 to 200. Both teams to score sides are Middlesbrough Luton, Norwich Bristol City, Sunderland Coventry, and Burnley Swansea City on Sunday 2,400 to 200. On to Spain. I'm going Real Madrid to beat Osasuna and both teams to score. Then both teams to score in the Real Valladolid Athletic Bilbao fixture. And over 2.5 goals, both teams to score. Real Sociedad Barcelona 2,300 to 200. And our Collis King 6 on Nixa. I'm going Liverpool to beat Aston Villa. Tottenham to beat Ipswich. I've always got to throw in a lurker. Chelsea. I'm throwing Chelsea to beat Arsenal. Sheffield United to beat Sheffield Wednesday. Like Real Madrid to beat Osasuna. And Bayern Munich to beat St. Pauli. 14 to 1. Paul, it was the Chelsea. You've got to throw one. Paul, I think only Chelsea's a dark horse there. And they were a decent price. So I'm chancing them. Away we go.
Excellent. Jeez, I'm looking at that last bet. That's a good bet.
It's Chelsea, Paul.
2,800. Yeah, it's just Chelsea. You know, draw kills you, but it's just Chelsea.
Well, you've got to take a chance in one of them. You can't go 1-6, 1-6 that people do. I don't do that, Paul.
All right, getting back to the last one standing.
Yeah.
There are 3 guys left. Ooh. And have they got inferior teams or less fashionable
Paul,
teams
after
to
10
pick?
weeks, Paul, it's always
tougher.
difficult. There's 1 or 2,
Any of them got the top 6 side? Don't think so. So it's hard work,
Hard
grinded
work,
out.
Paul.
A lot
Yeah.
of luck, as
Paul,
Graham Hawkins will attest
Well,
to.
this is the week, Paul.
Yeah, this is the week. There we go. Until next time, stay on side.